Hi, this is Zap, and welcome to the Reset and Zap podcast.
I just need a reset. No, it's not enough to press pause. I think I need a reset. I need a reset. Reset.
Welcome to the Reset and Zap podcast. I am your host, ZapTvZap, and with me is my co-host,
ZapTvZap.
You know, ZapTvZap.
Okay, all right. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy TJ.
I just want to feel like, Cartoon Network, basically.
Okay. That's what definitely would have sounded like, I'll tell you that.
ZapTvZap. Anyhow, guys, how are y'all doing today? Today I am breaking it down. I'm just gonna jump right into it.
Okay.
How about that?
Let's go.
Today, what to expect in episode number 10.
Number 10.
We're going to be starting with our rewind segment where we're piggybacking on one of our most iconic and favorite episodes from season 1 and in part season 2, because we did talk about this.
Yeah,
it's how to bring balance to a busy life. But of course, that's not all, because after that, we're going to transition to our reset, where we're going to talk about more on how to bring balance, but in our everyday lives.
Yeah.
So take notes, because this is going to be a good one. And of course, we're going to close it down with our pause segment, where we're sharing a special spotlight moment that I'm not going to reveal, because all I want to say is you're going to want to stay tuned for this. So just sit back, grab a snack, and enjoy.
Oh, not me.
Not you, but you know what we can do? We can rewind.
Okay. Rewind.
All right. So in rewind, like I said, we're going to piggyback to an awesome discussion that we've done 2 times, and people keep asking us to bring it back.
They want more.
And it's how to bring balance to a busy life. So can we recap a little bit of what we discussed in part 2, season 2? Part 2, season 2. That's actually, I did not plan it to be that way, but that was pretty cool. Of what we talked about when it comes to bringing balance to a busy life.
Well, basically the overall topic, and this basically goes for both episodes actually, is talking about is balancing out all the different things you do in your life. So like in the original episode, we were talking about it from a content creator standpoint. Where we were talking about, being a content creator and balancing that with your normal life. And then the second episode, we kind of talked about a little bit more, but just in more generic terms, more of like being parents and, relationships and that kind of stuff. And I think the turn that we're going to take this time is just everyday life for people who, don't do content creation, or for people who don't have these extracurricular activities that we do. Like, how do they bring balance to their lives? Because people like that are still busy. So we're going to be talking about more things like, more about parenting and or more about, friendships and everyday day-to-day life and your 9-to-5 job and those kind of things, the more normal day-to-day life aspects of bringing a balance to a life. So I think this is going to be a very, very interesting episode because we haven't quite tackled it from this perspective before.
Yeah, so are we bringing balance within each and every episode?
Yeah, we're trying to find the balance in the Force, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess we're Jedis now.
And just so you know, guys, these episodes are out and available as we speak. So if you guys haven't listened to it, we highly recommend you going back to season 1. It was a really good episode. And now in season 2, we had actually did a follow-up, so you can go back and listen to it in your own free time and listen to each and every one of these episodes. They're very episodic, and every discussion is truly it's been remarkable.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun discussing this, actually.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
It's definitely one of my favorite topics that we've tackled because this is something that we are still learning. We're still in the process of finding ways to bring balance to our lives through, like I said, originally talking about content creation, about, how much content should I put out and how much should my content creation interfere with my relationship or my day-to-day life. And then in episode 2, we talked about more about,
we talked about persona.
Yeah,
we covered a lot about persona.
More about your persona and dealing with, your persona life versus your real life and your parenthood life versus your real life. How these things, basically how the content creator side and the normal everyday side sometimes collide, and getting those two sides to balance, because they are two different aspects of our lives. And on today's episode, my little lips ain't working today. On today's episode, we're going to be talking more about, like I said, day-to-day life. And I think that's going to be a lot more interesting, because I think we'll have a lot more to talk about, because that's something that we have been, currently working on, is bringing balance to our everyday life, especially with the new addition soon joining the family. We're going to even have to bring even more balance to our life. So I think this is I'm ready to dive in.
We're ready. So don't worry, this is not just talking and catering, content creators or professional. Nope. This is now speaking to you, just an everyday individual.
Pretty much.
All of my Watts that are listening out there.
Beautiful Watts out there.
You beautiful Watts. So let us reset right now. Can we reset?
Let's go.
It's finally time to talk about part 2. Well, in this case, part 3 of work, life, and everyday life, basically.
I can jump off if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. Take it away.
Because actually, this is really interesting that we're tackling this, because now this is something that I'm currently working on, because, I'm not going to go into detail about it, but I just recently started a new position, my new 9 to 5.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And, the hours are completely different than what I was used to working before. I have to get up much earlier. And, I get home much earlier, but it's just that changing that shift has kind of, messed up my sleep pattern a little bit. So, now that's my balance now, is trying to find, that work-life balance. So now that I get up earlier and, making sure that I take care of things before I leave, and, making sure that everybody in the house is good before I leave in the morning. And then when I get home, even though I'm tired from being up early, I have to come home and make sure that I take care of my duties when I get home, and trying to adjust my sleep schedule, which I say is one of the first things is I'm learning to do is to set a routine for myself. All right, this is the time I get up. This is the time I leave the door. This is the time I come home. This is the time I shower. This is when I eat. This is, just trying to get your body set into a routine that works for you. And you might have to make adjustments to it on the fly. You might, hey, this doesn't work in this situation, so I need to kind of be able to flex with this and move like this. But I think one of the big parts of bringing balance to your life is, like I said, having some sort of routine. I know you can't rigidly stick to a routine every day, but just having your body sync up to okay, this is when I wake up. This is what I do in the morning. This is how I start my day. This is, figuring out what works for you to get you through your day. And that's something that I'm still trying to figure out and still working on. But I think it is very important to have some sort of, that routine that just gets you, so your body just kind of naturally just, okay, all right, this is it. All right, this is what we're doing here. This is what we're doing here. And it can be very challenging. And the first couple of days, as soon as I got home, I'd be so exhausted. I just get in the bed and just go to sleep. And I found out that doesn't really work for me. And, at one point I was taking walks in the evening to try to help my body, calm, get tired out for the night so I would sleep well. And, just trying different things and different patterns to see how your body responds. And I think that is a big part of trying to bring balance to your life, is just getting yourself in some kind of schedule.
Yeah, I agree. Setting good habits. Mm-hmm. The same way you adopt bad habits, you can replace it with good habits. Does it take longer? Of course. We as human beings, we're used to patterns. We're used to doing things a certain way. So it might take you, some time. The same way exercising, you might not get used to it the first week. The second week you might notice some slight progress. And then later on in a month you start feeling good, and keeping up with it. So it takes time. but you definitely want to set those good habits in place. And you also got to learn to be flexible, because what one thing would work for a certain season might not work for a different season. It depends on what season you're in. Like, I've had this discussion with you, about how I'm mentally preparing myself. I'm in what you call this nesting phase, where I'm preparing everything at home and making sure that everything is right, so when the baby comes, we're ready. But I'm also mentally preparing myself, because I know that once the baby's here, we're automatically going to enter in a different season of our lives where my needs are going to change. The things that we need to do in the house are going to change. Priorities are going to change. So having to set a balance, and setting a schedule, a new routine for this new individual that's coming into our lives, and then learning how to adapt. So yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things that you said, I'm glad you brought up, is understanding that when life changes, you have to make adjustments. And not to get into I know we said we weren't going to talk about content creator stuff, but just in a slight sort of way.
Yeah.
One of the things that I found, or one of the things that I'm doing, is I'm making adjustments to my schedule. So it's like, normally, I would drop videos every Tuesday and Thursday. But I know that once Leon is born, I'm not going to have as much time to be able to dedicate to it. But I still want to maintain the quality of the content that I put out. So I'm making that adjustment where now I'm going to just do one video a week. So there'll be videos every Thursday. So but I'm saying that to basically say, you have to understand when it's time to make adjustments. Yes, it is good to have a schedule and be synced up, but you also have to be flexible in that when your life changes, your routine might change. So now, when I go to sleep and when I wake up, might have to slightly change a little bit based on how the baby sleeps. Or does he sleep better at night? Does he sleep better during the day? We're going to have to make adjustments here and there to kind of fine tune and fit this new member of the family into our lives. So I feel like another great aspect to bringing balance to your life for everybody is understanding when sometimes that balance might have to change. Being too rigid can also be problematic to that balance, because you're so focused on trying to keep everything the same that you're kind of trying to force it to be. And unfortunately, change, like I always say, change is the one thing that never changes.
Yeah.
The only thing in life that never changes is that things are going to change. So that is the one consistent thing in the entire universe, is that everything will change.
Facts.
So you have to be able to work with that change and be flexible enough to understand that, okay, my life is changing, so now my priorities change. So now I won't be putting as much into content creation as I was before, because I'm going to have to put some energy into my son. So things, you have to be willing to make adjustments and to figure things out and to fit things in your life. And there may be certain situations where you have to eliminate certain things from your life that don't necessarily fit in.
Which leads to point 2, priorities.
You have to understand what's important in your life and what's not important in your life in day and time. And there was a point in my life where I thought that having my own Discord server would be a thing, and it's not working out for me. I never really had the time to invest in it, so I made a decision that I was just going to get rid of I was just like, you know what, we're just going to delete it and we're just going to move on. And same thing with when I was doing stuff for TikTok. I was putting all this effort into TikTok, and it wasn't really paying out, and it's not really a platform that I really enjoy even using. So I just got to a point where I was just like, you know what, let's just move on from this and just focus on what we have. And that's kind of what I'm doing now in my life in general. And it's like I said, this can go for anybody. Is sometimes you have to learn when to narrow your focus.
Yes.
You have to focus in on the things that work for you and that are most important to you. So I'm focusing on the platforms that work out the most for me, the music that works more for me, the job that works better for me. Putting myself in a position where I can just focus on what's important, and everything else. There might be some times where you might have to push some stuff to the side, okay, I can't do this anymore. This isn't really working for me, and this is kind of getting in the way of other things that I need to do. So this has to go this way, and this has to change. And once again, that flexibility. You have to be willing to change and understand that when your life changes, your priorities change, and the things that you do in life will also change. So you having that flexibility, I think, is very important to bringing balance to your life.
Yeah, agree. Another term that I like to use for it is filtering out, things that are not useful or necessary in your life. So, it's the same thing as prioritizing, basically. So for me, one of the I still struggle till this day, but I've gotten a lot better with it. So this is real life experience. I struggle with being perfectionist. So, one of the...
Yes, you do.
Yeah, so one of the biggest struggles I have is, and I used to, but it's not as bad now. I try to take in a whole week or a whole month in advance of things that I needed to do. And it would become pretty overwhelming, because once you set a whole month in advance of, oh my God, this is all I got to do in 1 month, it's like irrealistic, because you're supposed to live day by day, not month by month. But in my head, and that comes with being a content creator, you're trying to be as productive as possible, and how can I maximize my time and be efficient. But that comes with its cons too, because then you're setting realistic expectations upon yourself. So I've learned to stop myself and be like, no, this is a bad habit. I need to live one day at a time. And if I can't, maybe let me scope out to see a week. But I'm still going to break it down in small tasks and see what can I realistically do in my 24-hour day. And that's how I said it, because I think it was my grandma. I sat down and had a talk with her, rest in peace, and she would actually tell me that. She was like, don't try to squeeze a lot of things to do in 24 hours. If you see that you got this, long list, and you couldn't check off all your boxes at the end of the day, then you added too much. It's not that you don't have enough time. Like people say, oh, I don't got enough time. Wow, I don't got it. I wish I had more time. No. You have time. What you're trying to do is the opposite. You're trying to squeeze in too much. So break it down into smaller tasks that are doable in a 24-hour period. And if you can't do it today, then give yourself some grace. You're like, no, you know what? I did enough. I did what I could. And this is enough. Tomorrow's another day. I can go back and do whatever unfinished business I needed to do, wrap it up.
And I think that goes along with another thing that I always think about, is that you have to understand your limitations.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of people get wrong, is that they try to push themselves past what they can do and not understanding that their limitations can change. Perfect example, you being pregnant now puts certain limits on you on how much you can do, when you can do it. You can't be doing too much heavy lifting. You can't be bending over, which even though I have to still get on you sometimes for that. Anyway, understanding that, as you're going through this change, your body is changing. You're taking care of another person inside of you. So it's like you are now limited to the things that you can do, and you have to understand what your new limitations are. And just that goes for anybody in your life. Like, as you get older, your limitations will change. As your health changes, your limitations will change.
As you become parents,
your limitations change.
Yeah.
Like, you have to understand that you have to, in order to get the best life that you can, you have to understand your limitations and work within them. Like for me, health-wise, I have, my family has a history of cholesterol problems. So there are certain things where I have to try to avoid eating too much of certain things, or understanding my limitations, because I want to be able to live a long, healthy life. So I have to limit myself in what I can do. So like, one of the parts of bringing balance to your everyday life is seeing your limitations, understanding them, and then working within those limitations to best suit what works for you in your life. To the point where it's certain, like I said, once again, you might have to give up certain things. Like, one of my favorite things in the entire world is something I had to give up. You know me, I love me some fried chicken.
Yeah.
I love me some fried fish. I love fried foods in general, but I've had to put them down. Every once in a while, maybe I'll have something, but it's very, very rare. And I had to take that part of my life away in order to better benefit my health, so I can live longer and have more time to do shit. Because the one thing that you can't get back is time.
Yes, agreed. which ties along nicely with another thing that I've had to set myself limits, because back in the day, I would say I was kind of addicted, and it was the fact of being on social media all the time, being, just scrolling and watching stuff. I think we've all done that. We're like, oh, I got 5 minutes. I got time to spare. And then once you know it, it's been 30 minutes and you just been doing nothing but scrolling. And those 30 minutes you could have invested it in exercising and getting something done, but you've just wasted it. Like you said, time is something that you cannot recover. It's
once it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone. So setting those, this ties along nicely with a previous episode we were talking about, where I was talking about turning off as many distractions as you can to prioritize the things you need to do. So, for example, this has been a challenge for me, and I'll explain it in all areas. So, content creator wise, I'm gonna just touch that lightly. If I'm editing a video, I try to turn off my phone, and during the time that I'm filming or that I'm editing, I'm not on social media. I don't care if I have to do a promotional material, or I gotta answer. Anybody that knows that I did not reply to them is probably because I'm busy. I'm trying to get work done. So, but if I wouldn't have done that, if I wouldn't have shut down all those distractions, and I'm trying to edit or trying to get my work done, and then also trying to be on social media, I can't do both, period. I can't do both, because clearly one is gonna outwin the other one. And guess which one is gonna win? The one that's easier, the one that you don't have to do a lot of work, which is scrolling on your phone. So turning off, distractions. The same goes for like in my regular life. I'm trying to go to bed. If you know that being on your phone before bedtime is not really going to help you doze off, turn off your phone. So I have in my iPhone, there's some settings where you can set your like bedtime schedule. So after a certain time, I get a notification, and every time I hear that ringtone, I already know it's time for my bedtime. So every time I hear the ringtone, I'm like, okay, phone aside, limit how much technology you consume at night, and just take that time to let your body decompress and prepare to get ready to go to bed. Yeah. So that's another thing I do. And then something as simple as like when we're talking to each other, like sometimes I'll sometimes question myself, because I'll catch myself doing something while I'm talking to him, and I'll be like, okay, do I really need to do this right now? If it's priority, I can probably let him know, like, hey, let me finish this, and as soon as I'm done, I can pay attention to whatever we're talking about, and blah blah blah. Because I know I'm not good at multitasking when it comes to that, and I've done it before. I'm like, hold up. I'd be lying if I said I was listening to you, because I'm not. So at least I'm just open and honest about it. But if I don't really need to be on my phone, then I'll just put my phone down. And pay attention to the actual person who I'm living with all day, every day, because that probably matters more than me having to reply to someone that can move on with their day, and it's not going to affect them. So it's just little examples of turning off slight distractions here and there. And that would apply also for your workspace. Like if you're at work, first of all, you shouldn't even be on your phone. But if you are, I would say the number one rule I used to have, it's emergency. My family, if my family calls me, or my kid calls me, or the school calls me, or somebody calls me, you bet I don't care where I'm at, I'm going to answer my phone. So
it is what it is. And once again, that kind of goes back to what we were talking about understanding your limitations. You understand that one of your limitations is you're not a good multitasker. You have to focus on the one thing that you're doing, and you can't try to do multiple things at the same time. That's understanding your limitations and working around them. Hey, babe, give me a second. Let me finish this real quick, and then I will give you my attention, which is perfectly, totally fine. You have to understand what your limits are and what your abilities allow you to do. So for me, I know that one of my limitations is if I work on one thing for too long of a period of time, that if I try to do for example, let's say, This shows me that I need to bring more balance to my life
Yeah.
because the only examples I can think of are content creative ones.
Oh, gosh.
So I need to work on my balance a little more. But like, for example, like if I'm editing videos and I know I have three or four videos to edit, if I try to do all of them in one session, I know that the later ones are going to suffer. Like they're not going to be as good as that first one I did because my mind isn't as fresh or my energy isn't as fresh. So I know that is a limitation me is I can't work on one thing for a extremely long period of time. So I have to chop them up into small sessions. Like, okay, all right, this hour I'm going to work on this and this. And then I'm going to take a break. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to work on this and this. Even like, okay, matter of fact, okay, all right, I'm good. I'm going back to work now. So even with my work, for those of you who don't know, I am a IT support technician, which basically means a big fancy word for I help people fix their technology, okay? And there's some times where I'm dealing with certain systems and programs where it's like, all right, I need to focus on doing this thing. Let me focus on this one aspect of it, get this correct, get everything right. And once I do that, I'll get up, walk away from it, take a break, go get some water, use the bathroom, get something to drink, whatever I need to do to refresh myself for my next task. But trying to do several tasks back to back to back to back to back to back is a problem that I know that I have. I can't just do that because the further I get along, the worse my output becomes. So like the first thing I do will be amazing, but then the next thing might not be as good, and it'll get worse and worse and worse if I don't give myself some kind of break or a reset, as they say. As this one girl once told me.
Oh, God.
So understanding how you work and finding your flow of process can help you bring balance because you'll know, okay, all right, some people can sit down for 5 or 6 hours and do the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people. So you have to understand how you work and what works best for you and what will get you the results that you want. So you have to, once again, understand your limitations and work within those limitations.
Yeah, which leads to the most important part, creating some sort of framework, creating some sort of system that works for you. You don't want to fall in the trap of, what's it called?
Procrastination.
Yeah, where you just end up not doing anything because you don't really have a system in place. So set a system in place that works for you. I learned this from a therapist a long time ago, years ago, when I was struggling with what I had commented earlier about being, perfectionist and not feeling good enough if I didn't complete all my stuff. And the way she broke it down to me was, it was so powerful. I was like, wow, I mean, if I don't get it, I don't know what then. But she was like, what's your favorite hobby? She just asked me for a hobby. And I was like, well, I enjoy sewing. She's like, so do you find yourself, with anxiety if you start a project, like you want to finish it all at once? I was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I do. Because once I start, I just I'm like, I'm running out of time. I got to finish it. I got to do it all at once, And it's kind of excitement, but it's in a negative way because you have anxiety. You're like, I want to finish it. And she was like, okay, you're not going to always be 100%. So maybe the first thing you need to do is one day when you wake up, just set your sewing machine on the table. That's it. If that's all you can do, great. Just set your sewing machine on the table. The next day, bring your materials. Set out the fabric you're going to wear, you're going to use for your project. Set the materials out. Just leave it like that. And then the next day, just keep adding something. If this project consists of 3-4 pieces, maybe consider working one at a time. And she said, and you might feel like you're not making progress, but you are. You are making progress because you're breaking it down into smaller doable things, and then you're also going to feel like you accomplished something, so you're not feeling like you're lazy, you're not good enough, all these negative intrusive thoughts that sometimes we just let ourselves believe in believing. And till this day I still do it. Sometimes when we sit down and we talk about, and this has nothing to do with content creation, this is just like everyday life. I'm like, sometimes I'll break down a week. I'll be like, this day I have this day I have that. And the first thing I ask myself is like, is it doable? Can I do it? Or is it too much? And and you'll even ask me, you're like, let me know if you're capable in doing it. If you can't, you can't, And sometimes it could be something as simple as doing chores in the house. I'm like, oh, I got all these things I need to do, but what's priority on my list? Okay, so I can only do this. Okay, that's fine. I'll just do this, and then tomorrow I'll, move on with the next.
I think that's very important, is to do that. I'm a big component of setting a schedule for myself. So like I'm a big person, whereas I will pull out if I need something. I know I got a certain date, something that has to be done, or I will put it in my phone calendar. I'm so quick to pull out this calendar, and put something in there. Let me hold on, put that in there.
It's part of your framework, like using tools. We got so many tools nowadays. Notes, calendars, reminders.
Oh yeah, my notepad my notes are ridiculous. Like you would be surprised if you see. Like notes will have like my day-to-day things I want to get done. It'll have songs that I've written, or just a quick, simple idea that came to my head. I'll put it in my notepad. Like, use what you have around you to help you. Now, I am a big component of what I like to call templates. Like, I will create what you could probably call a framework, and I will fit everything in that framework. That way, the next time I have to do that same task, I know this is the quickest, most efficient way to do it. Like, okay, I start with this, I move here, boom, 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 boom. I do that pretty much in every aspect of my life, even outside of content creation. Like, when I go to work, I say, all right, when I first get to work, the first thing I do is I sit down, I go through my emails. All right, boom, 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 boom. I went through all my emails, and then I made a list of, this is everything that I need to get done today. This is the important things. This is what is doable. Boom, boom, boom. And I start working my way down and setting my times and make sure everything fits, and just basically working within the framework that I set for myself. Mm-hmm. So I'm a big component of trying to get yourself to a place where you can do that naturally, where your brain you don't even have to really think about it anymore. Like, I've gotten to a point now where when I go to work, that's pretty much how I work now. So, all right, emails. All right, this is going on over here. Let me set that aside. Boom, boom, boom. This can be done this day. I don't have to worry about that today. All right, let's put that over here. I will sit down and make me a nice little form of boom, 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 boom. And just try to organize yourself so you're not trying to put everything all on yourself at once. Mm-hmm. And that can work at everything. That can work at work, with your chores at home, with your passions, with whatever you want to do. Like, you should always, put yourself in a position where you can, like, kind of organize your thoughts or organize your ideas and understand and set dates for yourself. It's okay. Like, all right, I can't get this done in one day, but maybe I can get it done in a week. So I'm going to set myself a date of 1 week. And then once again, gotta be flexible. Once you get closer to that date, maybe you need to reevaluate. Okay, all right, I thought I could get it done in a week, and it's not kind of working out like that. So what can I do to get it done in a reasonable amount of time? What adjustments do I need to make it work? You got to still have that layer of flexibility to understand it. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes things goes up. Sometimes, even like I said with finances, sometimes things pop up that you don't expect. Yeah. And you got to be willing to, okay, all right, this is how this is going to go. Come up with a plan. Sit down. All right, write this down. This is the bills. This is what we owe. This is what we need to pay. This is what's important. We got this thing over here that we don't necessarily need. So maybe we just need to get rid of that for now. Like, let's get it all organized, and that way you're not panicking and worrying. Because when you panic and worry, you make decisions without really thinking, and that can really throw off your balance.
Lead to disaster, because you're basically moving and making choices in your emotions and your feelings.
Yeah, like a lot of the times, if I'm like upset or angry or even hungry, I won't make a decision until I fix that issue. I won't even make decisions when I'm hungry, because I will make bad decisions when I'm hungry. Hey, I'm hungry. Let's go get some Korean barbecue and spend $500. Let's go. Yeah. Because I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on. Let me eat some chips and snack. Let me satiate my hunger first, and then think about what I'm doing. Like, I'm angry. I'm not going to make a decision when I'm angry, because I'm going to make a decision based on how I feel and not what necessarily is the right thing to do. Or if I'm upset about something, I'm going to make a decision based on how I feel and not what's necessarily right. Yeah. So it's like, you have to understand when is the right time to sit down and make those decisions, and to figure out the things that are going on in your life. And, sometimes you got to learn when to just take a break and shut everything down. Yeah. Like, all right now I'm a little overwhelmed. There's too much going on. I'm just going to break from everything get my center back, get my focus back, and then I'll come back to this thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta know when to walk away from certain stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta know when to stop. That's also important in bringing balance, knowing when to stop. And in a family setting, it's even more so important because everybody should play a role in the household. So learning to communicate what's going on to the other individuals that live in your household, what everybody's responsibilities are within the household, and learning how to delegate roles, because the truth is that not all of us are going to be 100% at our very best every day. You know, there might be days that we've had it, you know. There might be days where we're both at a 100%. Some days we're at 50. Some days you might be at 75 and I'm at 10%. And some days we're both just tuckered out. You know, so knowing how to meet our needs is very important, you know, when delegating roles. You know, I know there's been days and that comes with the territory of bringing balance, you know, where you've told me, you know, hey, I'm tired, can you take care of dinner today? Or the opposite, I'm like, yo, you know what, I've had a very outgoing week, you know, I need to decompress. I really can't fulfill my duties, you know. And well, it's as easy as being like, you know what, let's take out food, you know, or let's go to a restaurant and sit down and that'll free us from having to deal with dinner, and we both get our needs met and can continue on with our day.
Yeah. I mean, there's been times where you didn't even have to tell me. I'll look at you and be like, nah, sit your butt down. You're not cooking today. We'll throw this piece in there and we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Like there's sometimes where you can, and it's kind of funny because this actually kind of ties into a previous episode where we're talking about couples and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I hope you bring balance to your life is, if you're in a relationship with somebody, is understanding your partner and being able to fill out what's going on, to help each other out and fill in when that person needs you. Like sometimes I know she's tired and she doesn't necessarily feel like cooking, so I'll take over in the kitchen, or if she can't get this thing done, hey babe, don't worry about that, I'll take care of it, or move that to the side. And sometimes I have to fight you over it, but because this woman don't know when to stop and sit her tail down somewhere. But I will fight her for it, you know. I will. Hey, I'm willing to have that fight. Go sit down, okay? You're doing too much. You're messing up the balance. Sit down.
Facts. Facts.
And sometimes that is important to bring into balance to your life. Sometimes you got to know when to sit down.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to know when to just, all right.
And if you can't do it, just delegate it to someone. I mean, that's what a family is for. Everybody, like I said, has a part to play within the household. So if you have children, they have responsibilities. At this point, you should have taught them, you know, the chores they need to do in the house, how they can help, being considerate with each other, knowing when to chime in, and knowing when it's none of their business and they should just stay away because it's an adult stuff. So, you know, for example, for our son, we have a schedule set in place. So every day he's in charge of cleaning and tidying up a certain area in the house. You know, he knows the responsibilities he has with school, and you know, there's certain times that we'll ask him to come in because we care about his opinion on you know, about certain topics, and sometimes, you know, it is what it is. Adult conversations are adult conversations, so sometimes kids have to step away from it. So in other words, everybody has an important role to play in the household.
So know yours and play it.
Yeah. Ooh, that sounds good. I felt like that was leading to somewhere else.
That's leading to a whole other episode right
Ooh.
there. Know your role and play it.
Lord Jesus. Oh, God.
What is it? That got good.
Contain yourself.
That got good to me. That got good to me. I felt that one. All right, good, do your thing, girl.
Yeah, so we've talked about, you know, framework. We're talking about, you know, knowing about your limitations, knowing your strengths and weaknesses are important when knowing what you're capable of doing and what you're not. It also is going to take care of you're taking care of yourself of not falling in the trap of comparison. Because I know that, a lot of families, when and unfortunately it is what it is, on social media, you'll see another family excelling and doing well. And there's only so much you can see on social media, and if you don't have your life in order, you'll tend to compare your family to the standards and expectations of that other family, and then you're gonna feel like you're incompetent, like you're never doing enough, apparently, based off of what you're seeing with this other household. But each household has its own growth. Everybody grows at a different speed. So be grateful with where you're at right now, and see what you need to work on, and then come with a plan that is tailored to you and your family, and not because you're trying to compare yourself to the standards of another family. You're like, I gotta be like them in order for me to know that I'm making it out here, that I'm successful.
And one of the things you just said is, felt so good. Is being grateful for bringing balance to a happy life. Part of that has to do with being grateful for what you have.
Yes.
Sometimes that can throw off the balance of your life when you're trying to achieve more than you can at a time. Everybody has their moment in the sun. Everybody has their chance for growth. Everybody has their chance to shine. But when you try to force that, or you try to be something that you're not, that can throw off the balance of your life. So being grateful for what you have, appreciating what you have, being good stewards over. I'm about to get religious on you.
Go. Do it.
I'm about to go to church. It's my granddaddy. My granddaddy spirit. My granddaddy spirit came down from heaven and just fell on me real quick. Because he used to say this all the time. Be good stewards over what you have, and then God can bless you with more in the future. And even if you're not a religious person, this is still true. If you want to get what's a fancy car? I'm not even in the fancy.
A
BMW. Say you want a Mercedes.
Yeah.
Say you want a Mercedes, and right now you got a Honda or whatever, and you can't take care of your Honda. What you think is going to happen when you get a Mercedes? What do you think is harder to take care of, the Honda or the Mercedes? The Mercedes are going to be more expensive to repair. It's going to take more work to keep it up. It takes more maintenance. It takes more this, more that. So if you can't appreciate your Honda and treat that with the utmost care, what you going to do when you get that Mercedes?
Yeah.
You get that BMW. You're not going to be able to handle the responsibility that comes with it, because people just think having an expensive car is just, I have an expensive car now. But no, there's a lot to go with having an expensive car. Insurance goes up, and like I said, maintenance efforts and what you have to put into it, and tires and all that. All these things add up to what it takes to maintain this vehicle. So if you can't handle the maintenance on a Honda, what you gonna do with a Mercedes?
Yeah.
If you can't pay your bills in your apartment, what you gonna do with a house?
Exactly.
If you can't take care of one kid, what you gonna do with 5?
The facts.
You have to be able to handle what you have now. If you're at it, once you get to a point where you can absolutely handle everything that you have in your life currently, then you can look towards going to the next level. But if you can't handle where you are, then you can't just expect to jump up to the next level and be able to handle that. So that's what my grandfather used to say: be good stewards of what you have, and then God can bless you with more later.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to appreciate and be grateful for what you have, and then you can go to the next level.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with desiring to be on the next level, or being in a better place. Like, we've all been in that zone where we're like, I can see myself accomplishing so much more, or having nicer things or better things, and that's nothing wrong. The problem there is when you're so focused, and I gotta work so I can get all these things, I can be where I am at. And so you, like you said, you become ungrateful of your current state and where you're at right now, because you feel like my life is going to be perfect once I get there, and that will affect your relationships too, because then you're with an ungrateful attitude. So it's like a poison, it just kind of seeps in, and once you know it, everybody in the house is just with the same attitude, and that's where the fights come in, the disagreements come in, because nobody has learned to sit down and just be grateful for what they have. For me, the way I did it back in the day was as simple as, and I don't have to do it now because I kind of verbally remind myself every day about it. But because I was learning how to install like this good habit within my life, I had to like create a list. So I had a list of things that I was grateful for, and I would put it on my fridge or somewhere where it was visible, I can see it. And I had like sticky notes, so I would put sticky notes in the bathroom, once I was getting ready to go to work. And then I had one on the fridge. And so everywhere I looked at, I had like a quote, or I had a Bible verse, or I had a list of reasons of what I was thankful for. It started like that. But what I was really doing is just creating this positive mindset of, regardless of what you're going through, you got to remind yourself, these are the things I'm grateful for. And I'm in a much better place than where I was, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, So, yeah.
Yeah. That got meaty.
Which, can we pause? Okay, we paused. This is the special moment where we're going to talk about the spotlight of the day.
What are we spotlighting today?
What is one thing we do that we can share with the audience that has brought much balance into our lives? Should I take over?
Yeah, you can start it off.
Okay. Well, we have what I call these rituals. We have little rituals here and there that we initiated, and it's worked out great for us. One of them, and I'm going to talk just a little bit, which I think some people may know or haven't, or may know about it but haven't done it. Anyways, let me just go straight to it.
Yes, ma'am.
We tend to, from time to time, we'll have our couple session.
Oh, yeah.
That therapy, I like to call it. Where we...
Our checkups.
Yeah, our little checkup.
Relationship checkups.
Yeah. And basically what this is we ask each other questions, and we kind of start figuring out where we're at relationship-wise, what things we need to fix, what things we're doing great, and where we're at. And it's always worked. Because, sometimes you think things are going a certain way, but once you have these, therapy sessions, you find out like, oh, okay, I wasn't aware of this. Maybe I need to, work on, changing these things, or it'd be like, wow, I guess I am doing great. So let's just keep doing what we're doing. And I don't know if you want to add to.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an idea that I can't remember where I came up with the idea originally. It's something that I seen. It was something I was watching, and a person was breaking that down about how it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about communication, and like just how much people in relationships don't really know how the other person is feeling, and the other person always expects you to know how they feel. And it's kind of a weird thing because like none of us can read minds. None of us have the ability to I don't know what you're thinking. So what is the best way for us to find that out? Well, I can just ask you, how are you feeling? Are you happy with how our relationship is going? Are you happy in this relationship? Am I doing a good job? Is there something that you have concerns about? Blase, blase, blah. And now we've gotten to a point now where we've done it so often now to a point where we can kind of just do it on the fly now, where it's just like it doesn't even have to be that sit down moment anymore. We used to just have it where we just, all right, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna talk, and now we kind of just do it on the fly. It's like, hey, okay, okay, cool. All right, we good. Okay, pound it out. Let's go. And we move on. Like we've gotten so good at it to a point that now we really do understand how each other is feeling and what we think. And I can tell when you're upset, and you can tell when something's bothering me, and I can tell when you're tired, and you can tell when I don't feel good. And we've gotten to that point where now we can do it like just boom, 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 boom. But it didn't start off that way. We had to sit down and have those conversations and understand how I think and understand how you think. And now at this point in our relationship, we've gotten to a point where we're so in sync now that it's not even a second thought. It's just like, oh, babe, babe, I know you're tired. Go sit down. Okay? Go into bed, get you some rest. I'll take care of this, and you just go lay down. Or she'd be like, babe, I know you're not feeling good. Rub your head or something. You know, it's just like that now. But we didn't just start like that. It started because we sat down with each other and say, okay, this is how I feel. How do you feel? Mm-hmm. Okay, this is how you feel. How do you feel? Boom, boom, boom. And we've built this repertoire with one another to the point where now we do understand how each other think and feel. So I think, I believe that was a big cornerstone of our relationship and still remains to be one to this day.
Yeah. And then the second thing that is a follow-up, I don't know who came up with the idea. I don't know if it was me, I can't recall, or if it was you, or if it was just an idea that we both initiated. But it is our famous, oh God, you know what, now that I'm talking about it, I think we might need one soon. But it's our couples retreat.
Oh, yeah.
It's our favorite thing to do. Every time we talk about couples retreat.
That does sound good.
Oh, it's always exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's one of my favorites. It's definitely one of my favorites.
Why don't you break it down? What's a couples retreat?
Couples retreat is basically where we take a break from everything. We take a break from social media. We take a break from content creation. We take a break from work. We take a break from everything. We spend that time just doing the things that we want. We might go out and have a picnic or something. We might go to a movie, or we might go to a museum, or we might go see a play, or we might go to the orchestra thing.
The opera show.
Opera, there you go.
Yeah.
My words today. I don't know what's going on. But we literally like, I'll put out a post saying, hey guys, I'm taking a break this weekend, so you probably won't see anything from me. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I just cut ourselves off from all technical. Boom. Only thing we gonna do is what we want to do, and I think that has really helped us to refresh and reset and tap for the week.
Yeah, facts.
And it's been like one of our big things now. It's to the point now where we get excited. I remember the first couple times we did it, it was a little rough. He was like,
yeah.
I don't know about that. But then after you experienced it, you was like, it's kind of nice.
Yeah. Now every time he brings it up, he's like, yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, when?
Do it this week, right now?
Yeah.
Right now. Tossed his phone across the room one time.
We're gone. Bye.
Then sometimes I don't even say nothing. I just go. I'm out.
And it can be as simple like, we're not necessarily going out anywhere. We could just be at home, but it's a complete retreat. So we're still doing things that we want to do, even though we're at home. But
maybe sometimes what we want to do is be at home.
Yeah.
Sometimes all I want to do is sit up in the room and play video games all day. That's what we'll do.
Yeah. Sometimes we're just in pajamas.
Playing video games, eating snacks, watching TV.
Being lazy, going to sleep early.
Yeah, going to sleep early, taking naps in the middle of the day. Oh, that's my favorite one. That's a good one, actually. That's another thing that we do sometimes is have nap dates.
Nap dates.
Oh, God, nap dates are so good. Like, we'll literally just be like, look, it's the middle of the day. We ain't got nothing to do. All of our work is done. Let's just get in the bed and take a nap. Just me and you together. We just gonna get in this bed. We gonna cuddle up, get real nice and cuddly and warm, and just go to sleep.
You're like, do you want to take a nap with me? Do you want to go on a nap date with me? And I'm like, yeah. And just turn off the phones, TVs, everything. And
get in the bed, just, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Setting that time apart, like basically just giving your body time to recuperate. Sometimes we're working and actually this is a problem that both of us have because we both can be workaholics at some point.
Yes.
We will both sit up and be like, all right, we're going to record 10 videos today. We're going to edit half of them. We're going to record, we're going to do your video. We're going to do my video. Then we're going to do a video together. And then we're going to shoot some more videos. Then we're going to go edit. And then we're going to go record this. And then we're going to go out to this other park and we're going to record out here. Like, we got problems. Like, sometimes we go too hard. Y'all be wondering, like, how we do all this stuff? It's because we crazy, okay?
Yeah.
But we've made it a point now to like, kind of reel that back in. So we'll have, like you said, our retreats or our nap dates or our house dates or whatever we can just to separate ourselves from what we do just for a little bit. And honestly, in the end, it kind of helps what we do. Because when we come back, we always come back with new ideas and re-energized and ready to work and ready to take whatever we're doing to the next level. So like I think that those things have become very, very important.
Yeah. And something as simple as we kind of mentioned it already is as simple as having hobbies that are not, entangled with what you do for a living, with your job, with your career, something that you just enjoy for yourself,
Sometimes we'll just go out and just walk.
Yeah.
Just walk around. We'll go somewhere we never been before.
Nature
just
walk.
walk around. Go do a nature walk or go downtown and just walk around and look at stuff.
Sightsee.
Random lunch dates just for no reason. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you want to go out and get some food? Let's go get some lunch.
A nice little coffee place, gonna have a cup of tea.
Go get some cake or something. Go to cake bar. Let's just go to get some cake or something. Let's just sit down. Let's just do something.
Yeah.
Let's just get out the house, get away from our phones, get away from social media, get away from content creation, and just go out and do stuff. The people don't realize how important that is to keeping a balance to your life.
Yeah.
People think that, balancing your life means that I do everything, but I'm just balancing how much I do it. Sometimes bringing balance to your life is doing nothing.
Facts.
And I'm telling you now, when you get older, if you're a younger person, if you're around my age, you'll get it. If you're a little bit younger, you might not get it yet. But you don't understand how powerful doing nothing can be sometimes.
Yeah, the famous term that's now used and thrown across every day is burnout. So if you want to avoid burnout,
sometimes it's good to just not do anything.
Yeah.
And that's something I had to struggle with you.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, because this one right here does not like to just sit around and do nothing.
No.
But I had to show her the power of taking a break.
It's a struggle. Like I've gotten better at it, but
in the beginning it was you love it now.
I do.
But in the beginning it was a bit of a struggle. I had to pull you away.
What?
Like, nah, baby, sit down. Like I literally mean when I say do nothing, I mean literally do nothing.
That's how you know you didn't have balance, because for me, when you told me not to do anything, the days that I was not doing anything, I felt like I was wasting my time. I was like, I could be doing this, but I'm in bed. Like, what am I doing? I should get up. And I had a detox. Like I went through. I think that's the perfect term, actually.
It literally is. It is a detox.
It was a detox that we had to go through, and the more we do it, the more you detox, and the more you realize, like, wow, these things that I was prioritizing or that seemed important to me, and I deemed important, are now all of a sudden like irrelevant for me.
And it really puts things into perspective for you. It really makes you realize what's truly important in your life and what truly isn't. Because you have that moment of clarity. You have that moment where it's like, you know what? I'm not doing that thing that I thought was the most important thing in the world to me, and it was all that mattered to me at that point. But now that I'm not doing it and I can sit back and look at it, it wasn't as important as I thought it was.
It even helps you in being creative. Like I said, if you have a hobby, doing nothing actually activates, for some reason, it just inspires you more in being creative. Like one of my best ideas have not come from when I'm busy and doing stuff. It's come from when I'm most relaxed and I'm not really doing much.
Yeah, because it gives your body and your mind have time to create. If you're busy doing everything else, when does your mind have time to stop and be like, all right, I want to do something new? You don't have that time because your mind is constantly working on whatever it is you're working on. When you're quiet and at peace and you're still, your mind has a time to be like, now I can reach into the depths of my creativity and maybe pull out something that I couldn't think about before because my mind was too busy going here, and here. So it's like, I think the best creatives are the ones who know how to do nothing.
Yeah. Which is a perfect example for me. I got to crochet a little crabby for Leon.
Yeah, you got to do. You haven't done your crocheting or sewing stuff in a while.
I had not crocheted in a very long time, and I was the happiest person on earth when I was crocheting. I think I couldn't even hide my happiness.
No, you couldn't. I was picking at you the whole time you were doing it. Like literally, I walked into the room and she's just sitting on the bed and she's just sitting there crocheting a little crab and her face is all lit up and glowing and glistening. And I'm like, yo, bro, like she is really having a good time over there. And that's the way it should be. Those are the moments that you should live for. It's those basic moments. Like it's not about the big flashy things sometimes. Sometimes it's just those moments of peace.
And tranquility.
Yeah. And that's why we've gotten to a point now where we even mention couples, right? When you said couples retreat, I was like,
we might need one. Just thinking about it.
Now we're at a point now where it's like, that sounds delicious. Like if that was a piece of cake, I would slice it and eat it.
We're close to one. We need to plan it.
It's about that time. Yeah, it is about that time.
Yeah.
If a couple's retreat was a slice of cake, boy.
Piece of cheese.
I would slice that bad boy up and
yeah.
Let's go.
But you know what? It's a perfect moment to ask the ultimate question. What do you guys do to bring balance to your life? What was your aha moment from this episode? And is there anything we've shared on this episode that you find useful or helpful that you might apply to your own life? If so, let us know in the comments below, because who knows, we might learn a thing or two from you guys, and things you guys do that we haven't incorporated yet that we might do ourselves.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. And if you want to know about all things ZapCristal, the Reset and Zap podcast, when we're going live, and special upcoming events where I might make a guest appearance and more, feel free to visit the website. It's www.ZapCristal.com. There is an email list for free. You can just join by putting in your email and stay up to date, basically.
100% free.
Up to date, 100% free. Of course, we got a lot more stuff on our website. You know, you can find ways to support us if you want to support us. You can check out our content, what I have to offer on my channel, the Reset and Zap podcast, and I mean, so much more. There's just a lot in the website. It's all things ZapCristal in one spot.
And it's free 99.
Yeah.
Free 99.
Free.
My favorite price.
Yeah, it's. I want to thank everybody, by the way, speaking of the email list, that have joined.
Oh yes.
I appreciate you guys. It's been exciting to see this Zap Squad growing and just being a part of the email list. And I'm always excited to send emails. I'm sending emails to my Watts. It's pretty exciting.
It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool. You're getting emails directly from ZapCristal herself.
Yeah.
Like, this is not no automated system.
Oh no, nobody's writing it for me. It's me.
It's definitely her, because I won't do it.
Not even him. I'm the one writing here now.
It's her. I'm not even. I showed her how to do it, and now it's your thing.
Yeah, it's mine. I feel like I'm writing a newsletter every time I'm writing out an email. So when you get an email from me, believe me, it is from me. So
100%.
Thank you so much for listening. You could be doing anything, yet you stopped and listened to this episode. And I want to remind you to always reset and zap for the week.
I love how as soon as you start doing the outro, you look at me to see if I'm going to do it or not. So then I have to decide whether I'm going to do it or not. And sometimes I will and sometimes I won't, just to mess with you, because it's funny.
This has been an ongoing thing in season 2.
I love it, actually.
Alrighty, guys. I'll see y'all in the next one.
Peace.
Bye.